Let's talk about survival in Gaza. This is our neighbor's little clay oven, now serving an entire neighborhood. You bring your dough, they will turn it into bread. It's one of the ways people in Gaza have been coping without electricity, fuel, or cooking gas. Cooking outdoors with wood, coal, or anything you can burn is now the norm.
والله هي الكنب تبع البيت نزلته وكسرته وهيني قاعد بولع عشان نطبخ ونطعم الأولاد.
Canned foods and pasta are prized possessions. Tuna, all kinds of beans, fava beans, chickpeas, corned beef, and processed cheese. Palestinian staples like olive oil, za'atar, and du'a are a lifeline for many families and the go-to breakfast. But the real pillar of survival in Gaza is community. If you have solar panels that haven't yet been bombed, you are a phone charging point for your entire neighborhood and beyond. Repurposed car batteries are also charging stations because to stay connected is not just to try and get your voice out to the rest of the world or to check on your relatives or simply stay up to date with what's unfolding around you, but it is also how you can call an ambulance if your house or your neighbor's house is bombed and maybe save lives. If you're a grocery store owner, you must go to work despite the bombing and the fear of leaving your family alone so people can buy whatever stock you have left on your shelves. If you're a farmer, you must continue to farm. And if you have a garden with fruit or vegetable trees and plants, you must share.
كل شغلنا مخاطرة في مخاطر. عمال واحد بيرتكلاتك على أعصابه بيشتغل. خايفين من القصف لا سمح الله يصير علينا قصف. بنستنى فيش سولار نسقي الشتل شايف نشف. متأمنين ربنا هيك اللي يبعث لنا الخير والمطر.
If you have a donkey or a horse, your cart is now a public mode of transport. Gaza has been cut off from all essential life necessities since Israel's Defense Minister Yoav Gallant announced a complete siege of the territory.
אין חשמל, אין מזון, אין מים, אין דלק, כל סגור.
But people had to find ways to make do with what they have and adapt to stay alive. In Gaza today, every day is a battle for sustenance and safety, a fight for your and your family's survival in the most literal sense. You must fashion hope from any and all fragments of despair.
احنا شعب بنحب الحياه ومهما يعملوا في اليهود مش حنطلع من بيتنا. انا حتملي في البيت قاعد هنا. انقصف البيت اسبعنا في الليل تقريبا بعد العشاء زي ما انت شايف كله رايح. طلعت عندنا لقيت مكسور والعود وبقى عند عود. اضطريت اعمل واحد بالبلاستيك. هنا كل يوم انا بعزف بجيب اولادي هنا بغير جو. انا في المدرسه بلقيهم الولد فيهم كذا الكئيب شوي بيجي هنا بالبسط.
شعب غزه صناع الحياه يعني على الفاضي اللي بيعملوه. بدنا نشتري خبز اشراك. لكن يا حرام مش عارفين الشباب اصلا يعملوا. بساعد فيهم عشان انا احجز دور واخذ واروح.
If you grew up in Gaza, you know to always have your war supplies stocked. Many households in Gaza at all times have shelves of canned foods and things like rice, pasta, sugar, flour, and anything with a long shelf life that can sustain you and your family when Israeli warplanes inevitably start bombing. The borders are closed and you have nowhere to go and very little available to buy. The 2023 war, however, has been on an entirely different scale to anything Gaza has witnessed before. The average teenager in Gaza has already survived 6 wars on this tiny besieged strip. But this time, within 1 month, about 1 million people in Gaza, half the population, were forced to leave their homes, and about 50% of Gaza's buildings have been bombed. If you are hosting several of your relatives and their children because they have had to evacuate or flee the bombing, then your supplies aren't much at all. 3 large backup water tankers may be enough for a small family for a couple of weeks, but it's not even enough for 2 days when you have several dozen people to sustain. Because that water is not just for drinking. You need it to clean the toilet because no water mains or power means no flush. You need it to clean your dishes. You need it to wash your body and your clothes. Many have had to resort to seawater, a trip to the beach not for vacation, but to bathe and to do the laundry. Water is water after all. Rain is now posing a real challenge for displaced people in Gaza who have to sleep in tents or in the streets without much shelter. But it's also a source of water for many trying to collect it.
الله عرف إنه إحنا بنعاني ونزل لنا مية من عنده. مية حلوة يا جماعة.
Under the weight of an all-out war where no one is safe in Gaza today, 6,000 children dead, Every smile, every breath drawn, and every scrap of wood burnt to bake some bread to feed a family is a daily testament to the unwavering will to survive and to hope against all odds.
حتى لو رحنا على مصر مش حنروح على مصر، حنتمنى هنا. لو اضطر الامر يعني اتكلف في حياتي لازم اتمنى في البيت مش هروح.